Hello everyone, Waldosis here with another Maker Machinations video, bringing you your daily dose of death traps. Today we'll be taking a look at the roadmap for the future of Meet Your Maker, talking about initial impressions of the game and current audience trends, and what you're likely to see in the near future. As always, if you do enjoy this video, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe, as I am new to YouTube and it does really help me out. For this video, I've been analysing a bit of data that is out there in terms of the audience and the community, as well as looking at resources such as Steam charts to see any trends in the player base. The idea behind this is to talk about whether there is any truth behind people shouting the game is dead. So let's start with that side of things. Although there have been a few small problems, such as complaints about kill boxes and the prestige process, the game has had quite a positive debut. The people who like the game, like myself, are extremely passionate about it, which makes for a pretty good starter audience for any release. However, there are a few issues that as a community we need to be aware of. For one, Behaviour have not done a very good job at actually advertising the game. With the exception of the PS Plus promotion, there's been very little in the way of a push to get the game in front of people, which has resulted in quite a low initial audience. And due to the way games tend to trend in their first few weeks, this has made a few people very concerned that the game is already dying. Steam charts, for example, shows an initial downtrend, with the average players dropping from 2,900 average a day down to 1,900. However, I think it's safe to say that these numbers can actually be a little bit misleading, as by my calculation looking at the ratio of outposts and raiders between PC and other platforms, around 80% of the audience is on console, which makes sense as this is where the promotion is actually actively happening. Now, conversely to the Steam drop-off, communities on sites like Reddit are actually growing for the game, rather than shrinking, which is a sign that consoles where the promotion is are actually going in the right direction. Now, it's amazing the amount of PC players who don't know the game even exists, and even in my community of avid gamers, I was the only one who'd actually heard of the game before its release, and essentially had to market it to my own server, which, in my opinion, is contributing to the decreased audience on Steam, and is nothing that couldn't be fixed with some good promotion, a sale, or a free weekend on Steam. Now, if Behaviour give the game the same post-launch support that you've seen with DBD before, you can expect the numbers on both PC and console to probably stabilise and then slowly grow over the course of the next few years, similar to what happened with DBD, as long as the community remains passionate about the game. Now, you may say that DBD isn't a good parallel due to being in a different genre, but actually it's the ideal parallel because it's a very specific audience in a niche category with an asymmetrical playstyle that also suffers from one of the major issues that Meet Your Maker currently suffers from, and that is a mismatch between one side of the asymmetric playstyle and the other. In DBD's case, there was a lot of long queues to get into games because there was a mismatch of killers to survivors, and currently in Meet Your Maker, we're seeing a mismatch of raiders to builders, meaning that bases aren't getting raided as much as people would like to see. Once the game stabilises and starts to add in more content, I think we'll start to see the post-launch community begin to bounce back, and that is where the roadmap comes into play, and I've got to say, it's looking quite healthy. So let's take a look at what's coming in the near future, including tomorrow's free content drop. Tomorrow is the 18th of April, and we're going to be seeing the first free expansion content for Meet Your Maker. This is called Hellscape. Hellscape is a free cosmetic pack open to all players on the 18th of April for free, and includes 2 new builder blocks, 2 static blocks, 1 animated prop, and 8 decals, all with an underworld Hellscape theme, great for the demonically inclined builder. It is important to note that no gameplay updates are coming with Hellscape, and it's purely cosmetic, but gameplay modifications are very close behind. One note to make, however, is that a very easily missed in-game notification does say that replays will get wiped with content updates, so don't be surprised if you log in to no replays tomorrow. During the second half of April and throughout May, Behaviour have confirmed they'll be dropping new mods and augments to change the behaviour of traps and guards, to allow builders to create new deadly combinations. These will be in the form of regular content drops that seem to be happening every week or 2 weeks throughout the course of the 6 weeks between the middle of April and the end of May. Personally, I'm very excited for these, as it should add a lot of variation to outposts if these have some significant changes. But we won't know that until we see what these mods and augments are when they drop over the next few weeks. In June, we'll be seeing the first of what Behaviour have already said will be many sector releases. Sectors are much more substantial updates with a focus on not only changing the game by adding new traps, guards, weapons and suits, but also changing it cosmetically by adding in new cosmetic blocks, outpost locations and various other cosmetic functions, all of which will be unlockable with in-game currency without having to purchase separate DLC. However, in the June period it does say there will be a cosmetic DLC available as well. Each of the new traps, guards, weapons and suits will include a full set of mods, augments, perks or upgrades, so should result in a substantial shake-up of what players can expect in Outposts. If Behaviour nail the introduction of sectors, they could be an amazing way to grow the game. The first of these sectors to drop will be Dreadshaw. Now, not a huge amount has been revealed about this yet, apart from it's likely to have a deep sea aesthetic. This screenshot was posted to the official website, which seems to depict a diver-like custodian with what seems to be lasers pointing at them. During the dev stream prior to the game launch, the developers did mention a few tidbits about this, indicating that the lasers that are pointing to them in this screenshot are important. My thoughts are that these are probably alluding to a new trap type. I personally would love to see laser grids of varying shapes that players have to sidestep or jump over, with mods changing the angle or shape of the grid. But these look like they're more to do with laser pointers, so I'm thinking it's probably going to be something that tracks the player, which is actually something many traps lack, as the Plasma Sentinel is the only one that actually tracks custodian positions. Finally, let's talk a little bit about competitive play. Behaviour have alluded to the fact that they want to do competitive play for Meet Your Maker in the future through various webpage articles and Twitter posts, and currently have their Devious Duos tournament running on their Twitter, although again this is something that they have not promoted very well, and it's only really passively promoted on their Twitter. People who have seen the conversations about competitive play, however, have been wondering exactly how that's going to work, but thanks to this tournament we have an idea of exactly how competitive play will eventually look. It seems that this gameplay style will focus on duos who play in phases of around 30 minutes, the first phase of which will be to build an outpost, and then each team will raid the opposing outpost and have 30 minutes to beat it. The winner will then be the players that have defeated the enemy outpost in the shortest amount of time and with the fewest deaths. It's an interesting format, and I can definitely see it being very interesting in an esports view once they finally make it playable to the player base, but it would seem that outside of their curated events, we are quite a way off seeing this actually become publicly available, especially as there is currently no public matchmaking or spectate options within the game. So what is my final verdict? Well, Meet Your Maker is an amazing game, and I'm hoping that Behaviour nail all of these updates, so that I'm in a position to provide you all with great Meet Your Maker content for years to come. The game has, however, got its issues, which are going to impact the short-term player base, so we as fans have really got to keep the lights on so that the game can grow over time and not end up like Behaviour's Death Guarding game. But with the console take-up and cross-platform play, I think we're in a good position to weather the storm, and if they nail these future updates, I can see Meet Your Maker becoming a force to be reckoned with once the content amount has increased. So that's what we can expect to see in the next few months, as well as a look into what competitive may look like at some point in the future, most likely the end of this year or next year sometime. And that's it for today's video. I hope you all found it informative, and I'll see you in the Wastelands.